very quickly about revenue analysis, and then move on to our financial statement memo.
Revenue looks really good, but
Awesome.
it actually looks artificially good because of a couple
Don't
of
say
things.
that.
Well, the schools budgeted maintenance of effort, so they budgeted less than estimated, so it's going to make the property tax look much higher. And we also budgeted the prior year because they budget maintenance of effort for sales tax, so the amount of debt service, and the schools will be high there. And then also the same thing with will tax, we budgeted the prior year amount on the budget side. Otherwise, everything's pretty well. There's some variances, but they offset each other because the district office has 2 years of tax. Everything else is kind of running somewhat in line.
Thank you, sir. Financial statement.
And that's just the memo saying the financial statements will be available to the county commission on the county commission.
Transfer, sir.
That's just for some overtime for election for the Millersville.
I'd entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. Long, interbudgetary.
They're attached on page 17 and 18, and I did not see anything that would raise any red flags.
I'd entertain a motion to approve. I'll make a motion to approve. Move to approve.
I'll second, but I'd like to get in the queue.
Motion and second. We have Mr. Klein in the queue. Go for it.
Mr. Long, I have to ask this because I'm so curious about hard drive destruction.
That's when you pull your hard drives out, just like my office. We actually used to pay somebody to destroy those hard drives. They melt them down and destroy them completely.
Yeah, you don't.
That's a lot of hard drives.
They'll actually give you a certificate. So, well, which office was that? I've never seen it, but I did.
It's the sheriff's office.
So they would have several hard drives.
Okay.
Yeah, but they actually, if they do the same thing we do, and I haven't asked them directly, but what we did in the past, we actually paid another entity or business, they would come in and destroy the drives and actually give us a certificate of destruction.
Because I've got a fire pit in my backyard.
He shook his head at the same thing they're doing. Well, they won't melt down.
Any other questions here? Mr. Brown.
For the highway department? Which page are you looking at? 17?
Second page.
18.
It's item number 131.
It's 100, and how much was it?
No, it's item number 131. It's $144,000.
$144,000. That's where they're moving money. That's where he's moving money out to go there to buy additional crushed stone.
Yeah, so.
So where do you move it from?
For it has to look at that account we didn't raise it. But I looked at it, didn't really raise any red flags at the time, and crushed stone. But I can look it up and look at that account.
Any other motions? Mr. Wells, go ahead and answer your question. Any others? We have a motion and a second. All in favor to approve?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. So we've added F, and Mr. Long.
The quick and dirty.
Yeah, I just want to make a note here that I do appreciate Mr. Ben Harris, who gave me a call just in the course of his regular business. He noted that he, just looking at our budget and looking at what he has, some contacts he has in Gallatin, believed that we were being undercompensated for adequate facilities tax. So I did want to give a shout out to Mr. Harris for calling me and informing me, not deliberating, informing me this, which is totally within our bounds. And then we had several discussions with Mr. Long and did a little bit of digging, and there's potentially quite a bit of dollars on the table here. So, Mr. Long.
I was inquired, the original inquiry did come from Mr. Harris, and then next it was Mr. Say about the adequate facilities tax. And so the first thing I did was approach actually the building construction office, talk to Marshall downstairs, and we have a procedure in to audit the revenues that are received from the city's adequate facilities tax. That was my first place I stopped for. When I was talking to Marshall, he made the comment that certain classes of businesses were exempted from this, so I actually asked him an inquiry of why. And far as we can determine at this point, it was that way when he went into office, but it was based upon a resolution, I believe, in 2007 and 1999, where they did a clarification on what's considered industrial. And they kicked out retail and a whole group of things out to industrial. Well, if you go back to the private act, The private access industrial is based on a very specific federal publication that includes all those items. The private act actually goes back and exempts only 6 classes of business, and the private act actually spells out the taxes are on all construction of residential and the other type of commercial.
Mr. Long, I would like to, because we've talked about this at some length, and do you remember the resolution, that was, what the number of the resolution was? 2007?
The one Marshall gave me that he looked at, because he came in, he got a question of why he was in there, we think it's a 2007 resolution.
Do you remember the number, resolution number? Because I'm going to make a motion here, and what I would like to make the motion is, the motion I would like to make is, to draft a resolution rescinding that resolution, 2011 whatever one it is, and affirming that the commission will adhere to its private act.
0704-04.
So my resolution, what this would be is a resolution rescinding 0704, what was it?
04.
070404, and affirming that this county will abide by its private act in collection of adequate facilities tax. That's my motion. Motion and a second. Mr. Sittler.
I want to be very clear on this because David and I spent a lot of time on it. Just because there is a resolution out there now that says they're exempt, it doesn't trump the act, and I believe Marshall has already put out to the municipalities that this needs to be started to be collected now.
Correct.
Regardless of the status
I
of this
just don't want there to be any, here's my thought on this. I don't want there to be any, this was a bad resolution to begin with, and I don't want there to be any question whatsoever or any point of argument whatsoever on the point of various cities in the necessity of collecting this tax. I don't want there to be any question.
Can I make one point?
Go ahead, Mr. Long.
The building inspector Marshall did do his due diligence. When he came into office, he did look at the resolutions. He was following the resolution, but he did not understand the distinction that you cannot have a resolution that is in conflict with a private act or a general law.
I'm not criticizing, just to be clear, I'm not criticizing.
No, he was doing
I'm not criticizing him or anybody else. I'm only stating that, well, I am criticizing that resolution and probably people who drafted it by default, but not anybody who was confused by those two. And in fact, that's why I want to see it removed. So it is extremely crystal clear that we're following the private act.
But I'm just making sure everybody's aware.
Can we get Mr. Long, I want to, just for the room here, to understand the magnitude of this. Over the course of, since 2007, how much revenue do you think we have on the low side that we've missed out on?
I would say, my understanding now, it started out way back in 1999, I would say just on the low side, $15 million.
15?
The only reason I think that is because you go think Indian Lake.
50.
No, 15.
15.
15 over.
15.
But here's what makes me think, because you go to Indian Lake and everything, and right now I just think of Costco.
Right.
I understand it's somewhere around 160,000 square foot, 40 cents per square foot, not collected on that one. Right. So Sam's Club, Walmart out there, the theater, the whole Indian Lake, these things were approved back in 1999. So no retailers had adequate facilities tax collection on it.
Do you have an estimate of what we're going to be picking up?
It'll be based on the amount of these items that were considered exempt. But if you look, and I can forward anybody who wants a copy of the email, it actually refers you to the federal publication and tells exactly what's considered that they should be taxed. It was very clear,
Mr. Mansfield. Or did you actually get your question answered?
If we could get an estimate of what we're going to pick up in the next budget later.
I would be cautious because right now,
Okay.
it's hard to say unless we
know when projects are going to be completed. It's hard to too late. Yeah. Mr. Mansfield.
You missed the big.
So
We can't go back.
I need clarification. This resolution passed in 2007, which my understanding was it stopped the collection of the commercial. Versus, are you saying it was just never collected since 1999?
I talked to Marshall today, and he actually contacted the former pre-2007, and their understanding was they never collected the adequate facilities tax on retail. But when he came into office, what he looked at was a resolution, and it basically said that it was clarifying what the commercial was, and it was based on our zoning resolution, and it kicked out a bunch of, commercial bad industrial.
So, I remember their Board of Construction Appeals asking about this last year, and what we could do about it, and I guess we just not catch it last year, or just, that was brought up in a meeting that I watched about the retail adequate facilities tax on those buildings that we weren't capturing, and that was an alarm that was sounded last year about it.
I think the problem there was it was being presented as a, impact fee versus this tax.
I have a comment on that. I was at that meeting, and it was, the idea was that the industrial classification manual of the federal manual, that was the guideline for that was discussed, but the contents of what that was not known at the time. So, I mean, as far as Marshall was aware, industrial meant industrial, so he didn't know it was commercial.
But even though it was brought up, I mean, you're saying it's been brought up a lot longer than this last week. This was something that
This was
committee, like last year, brought up and flagged, and like, why aren't we doing this? And so,
When I was questioned, I followed up the following week. I mean, I think it was Mr. Show who contacted me the week before, and earlier that week, I had a contact from Mr. Harris. So I followed up this past Friday with Marshall to see. My first thought process was we were missing them in the audit, or there was some classification differences between building permits. But when I was discussing it with Marshall, the whole thing came up with the resolution stating what was the industrial. And he said there was some language difference from the private act, but he thought his understanding from earlier, probably before my current legal office, was the default resolution.
The previous law director had recommended, that the resolution trumped the private act.
I don't know if he told her, hey, somebody.
That's what.
Told me that at some point.
Well, I don't want to say that as fact, but that's what we think might have happened.
so,
He's told to follow, that's all I know.
I mean, just for people to understand, is that you have city governments saying they need more rooftops so that they can have more retail, neither of which have been paying for themselves. And that's why we've been raising property taxes to pay for services at the schools, highway, sheriff. So we've been losing income on stuff that they've been clamoring for, and the counties had no mechanism to pay for what the cities have been. The county hasn't grown, it's the cities. And so I just want to make that clear, losing $15 million and not capturing, that's a lot.
Well, that's below it.
Below it. I mean, but I'm just saying, it's just
And that's a gift.
shocking.
To do any kind of real calculation, I'd have to have all the square footages.
So let's, any further discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Mr. Wine, item number G.
Just the judge's salary, the administrative office of the court certifies their salary each year. It's based on COLA. The amount they sent us for 2023 was 4%. They've now informed us it's 5%. The amount's not material. It's $1,843 per judge, $5,529 total, and the benefit is about $6,576. Just making you aware, we will bring a adjustment for a resolution next month that is required to be paid, and we are going to start paying.
There's no discussion of this. There was no, movement on this meeting now, right? Okay. Any discussion on this one? All right. Is that your report, Mr. Wong?
That's in my report, unless anybody has any.
No need to vote on that, 'cause it's coming next month. Okay. So moving on to old business here, City of Gallatin, have we got a check yet for our $900,000? Do we, Mr. Mayor, any update on this? I'd entertain a motion for discussion.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So do we have any, like a time frame on when this will be paid out?
It's my understanding they want to wait until the parking garage is completed.
But simultaneously, Gallatin Utility District is stopping us from completing it, or from turning, what is the definition of complete? Like, we have everything built?
You need to ask the mayor that question.
The mayor of Gallatin.
Certificate of occupancy, probably. And that means everything's functioning, the elevators,
Well, this is for the garage.
right,
Okay.
yeah, there's elevators.
Yeah, I don't know, just.
So,
Mr. Mansfield.
repeat that again. So you said they owe us
$900,000.
$7,000, but then they're
Well,
hindering us.
the not Gallatin the city, it's Gallatin Utility District is a independent body that does not answer up to the mayor or the Gallatin.
The city Gallatin Photo?
No, I mean, well, they make partly, but I mean, they're funded from services.
So they're just an independent body, not related. It's just a name on
They're their own, yeah, that's right.
It could be like,
Yeah,
those
it's like,
lights are like,
it's like NES, National Electric. So that's who's holding this up.
This is the stormwater.
No,
No,
this
it's something totally
this
different.
is something that reared its ugly head on Friday.
So what are our options here, I guess, my question? Like, are we just gonna play chicken over having a, like, I mean, it doesn't affect me. You know, like, I don't need to park in there. Are we just gonna like, just let this thing sit? I mean, what are we just gonna play chicken and all look stupid? I mean,
We've got a meeting tomorrow with, Department of Electricity to see where we are with this new thing that just popped up,
okay,
which I think we're gonna end up taking a firm stance on.
okay.
Yeah, the mayor and I were sideswiped in
I
the
know,
meeting.
I'm totally aware. So, no movement on this one needed. We'll just stay. Anything else, any discussion on here? Okay, so business. Stays on old business. Okay, so item B, we're gonna defer, so I just wanna note here that I spoke with, Mr. Ellis, so last month we had, this came up in, both in the budget and in the full commission. We haggled around this a little bit. There was a note, I think, that the highway was going to have a special call session, but that did not happen. I spoke to Mr. Ellis. He said he is fine with this being deferred, to March. So March, this will be on the next month. I understand that this will be on the next month's highway, committee. That's my understanding here. And then we will consider it. So I will defer till next month. Any other notes on that one from anybody? Okay, great. Sheriff's Office, item C1, $310,000. This is ARPA funding for swap for internal vest to outer roadbury vest. I'd entertain
Make a motion.
motion, second.
Second.
Okay, we have,
Discussion?
well, it's keeping discussion. So we have a motion. Was your motion to approve or discuss?
Approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second to approve? Motion to approve. Ms. Boyd.
So we just moved all of this off the ARPA so that we could decide what to do with it. So now we're gonna put more back on the ARPA?
Do whatever, as Mr. Hyde says, assuming this goes through commission, we can sell this building if we want to, so.
I would be all for moving that to the top of the line with buying in line with ambulance and police cars and equipment. But I think we should line it all out and see what we want with the money. I mean, and Chief Craddock could tell you, it was my idea to start with when we were negotiating salaries, or not negotiating, but working on salaries, that I thought this would be a good use. But I don't think we should put things back on when we just took things off.
I mean, you could make a motion to appropriate from the general fund, if you'd like to do that.
So I'm just saying that we just,
Right, but we've moved it to the general fund, but there's,
we're just gonna move it to the top of the line of ARPA usage.
so, but we're not gonna approve it for now.
Yeah, I think that would be the thing, to defer it until we wrap up all of this ARPA. And then, as I said, I'd be all for. I mean, what we said was we were going to use things that we could buy that we need, which this is a thing.
Right, so I mean, well.
So do
you
we
can make
wanna start
whatever
on
motion-
this
Here,
right now?
I'll make a motion, I will make a motion,
We already have.
or I'll amend the motion.
Yeah, we have a motion.
I'll amend your motion to take the $310,000 from the general fund, since we moved it over there.
I'm agreeable, this is a
Okay.
safety thing, so.
So you're gonna, so the motion is good with making this.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it needs to come from ARPA. I'm not saying that that's a bad idea. I mean, it was me that put it on the table first to use it from ARPA. I'm just saying that we just moved everything off ARPA so we could figure out the best way to use it. I think this should go to the beginning of the list, but we're gonna work on it with the consultant.
Well,
But
do you have a
it
motion?
can go.
Do you have a motion?
I'm good with deferring it to after we talk to the consultant and roll it all together.
Do you have a motion, so.
That would be my motion.
Motion?
I agree.
Motion and second? Any other discussion?
We'll defer it
Tomorrow.
until we talk to the consultants.
All in favor? All opposed? No. Okay, so that was an amended motion.
It wasn't an emergency, right?
So that's an amended motion, so now we're back on the main, which basically yours over, this is, the motion, basically the amended motion to approve it, but that amended motion was to defer to next month, so we'll, vote on the main, which is to defer it again. All in favor? Any opposed? No.
No.
2 noes. Motion passes. Same thing for the taser upgrades. I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve, but I have a feeling it's going to.
Second.
So can I ask for us to suspend and ask Chief Deputy if these are emergency items?
Sure.
Motion to,
Second. All in favor?
suspend.
Okay. Mr. Craddock?
They're not emergency items. They're not, it's not gonna be classified as emergency. That's, and I guess that's the definition of it. However, we have been working on this since December. We've got demos. I see no reason to delay. We're gonna put it at the top of the list next month, like we do it now.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. All right, going back under our rules. We have a motion and a second to approve these. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so motion, fails. All right, medical and dental services. Motion? This is SCAP funding. This is a different set of funding. Mr. Long, actually, I may need your assistance on this one.
SCAP is for when we house aliens in the,
Is this pass-through?
it's grant funds, so,
Okay.
and it's been on here from last month, too, so
Yep.
I think. You probably want to suspend the second reading on to this pass.
All right, I would entertain a motion. I'll go ahead and I'll move, to pass this with the suspension of the second reading if it's unanimous.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, or is there any discussion? I've been going quick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. So the items 4 and 5, I believe we have passed. We passed these during the last, I think these are informational only. Because we passed this, for the full commission, so this is just for information and docketing. So we can go ahead and move on to 6. This is, the SRO grant. I believe that this has been, that, the sheriff's office has asked to defer this, so we're gonna defer this till next budget cycle. I would just make a note to defer this to the next budget cycle. Item number 7, this is the one I added. This is for data backup. This is for a contract. Do we have a dollar figure on that, Mr. Long?
I thought we moved all those over here.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. That was mine. You're right. Sorry, that needs to go too. Yep. So we're on, stormwater project. Pending, this is a $595,000 pending general office. I know, Mr. Klein, that this is still churning, so I'd entertain a motion for discussion.
Motion to discuss.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Klein?
Well, we had a meeting last Friday, and we've gotten rid of any of the variables, we think. So the circuitry of how this is going to happen is the city of Gallatin is going to move the water line. They're going to abandon 2 water lines and put in a 12-inch ductile iron. That'll have to happen first. It moves to the north side of Franklin Street. That's about a 3-month project from now. And then after that, we can go ahead and do the storm drain system. The price we have from Turner's pipe company is about $399,000, and we were told that's a solid number. Although I have a question about that because the drawings are not complete and approved yet. But they're saying the price is rock solid at $399,000, which I personally think is very high. Turner has a $100,000 oversight fee and then a $100,000 contingency fee, which may or may not get spent. I have not had a conversation, but maybe now's the time to have it with Mr. Long if we can bid this out.
Here's the thing that you got. This was originally bid as construction manager risk with Turner. My question came up the other month because this was being added in. Was there an existing amount that should be removed, or why was it not included? And I sent you copies of the original plans. The original plans, this garage was in a different location.
Right.
So it makes $100,000 100% sense why this would be an add-on at this point. If Turner wants to do it, their bid was for the entire garage for us to occupy. So if they're willing to do the work, and unless Mr. Sibley disagrees, I think they actually got a right to do the work the way it's being presented. If they don't, then we're gonna have to bid it. If they say, we don't wanna do it, it's not part of the project, we have to bid it.
So they have right of first refusal.
Pretty much. Unless Mr. Sibley disagrees.
Yeah, we're in a quasi area here, and that'd be the safest way to approach this, is exactly what he said.
Well, Mr. Neal, we don't appropriate the money then.
Then we don't finish the garage. That's kind of where we're at, where if we've got one run forward with Turner, if Turner doesn't want to do it, then go out to bid.
Okay, so
What I'm looking at is, I think it's a little bit of a gray area, but you probably want to use the safest thing to do.
So we have legal review, and legal review is basically that if we were to appropriate this, then Turner would have right of first refusal. So
And I don't want to speak for Eric, and to make sure.
Is that
No, I agree.
Okay. So has this been approved in GenOps? I'm getting a north-south from somebody else in GenOps back there.
did we pass it?
Okay.
I believe it had a limitation of, not to exceed 600.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So I'll make a motion to approve this. It meets both those criteria. Like, there are many reasons why this project has lots of problems, but this is one we know we need to do. We have somebody who's willing to do it. We have something of a timeline, and we have potentially a willing partner. So I'll make a motion to approve this.
And to be clear, we did move the garage after Turner bid on it. So
I was gonna, yeah.
So what does that mean?
Well, we caused material change.
Yeah, we
we
changed
caused this cost.
Wait a minute, it's defined we.
Well, whoever
I'm
moved the
sorry,
garage.
the county.
Yeah, the county back.
Well, it doesn't, I mean, we as
just trying to figure out, was this when we couldn't, use inventory to take somebody's property on the square that we wanted, and then
I wasn't involved directly, I just came
I'm
up.
just trying to refresh my memory here.
I was involved directly with this portion. The question came up, was my question, why Turner wouldn't have an existing allowance that would come back out and why this wasn't covered. So I went and pulled the original bid. The original bid for the construction manager at risk is a different location than where the garage is now, which would make sense that you would have different drainage. So as Eric said, it looks like we probably caused, or whoever moved the garage, this additional cost. And their bid was.
We don't have a second right now. So, I mean, it can just fail. I have a motion. Second? Motion fails. Okay. This is, we don't get time.
Chairman.
Yes.
So we're not funding this project?
Motion failed. I mean,
All right, you have a second.
I didn't have, we had a motion and a second for discussion, and then I had
I'd like to make a motion to defer until we get a final set of plans. Can we have a discussion with Turner with the final set of plans?
do we have a timeline on that?
The final set of plans should be done this week also.
All right, I'll second your motion.
So by the next meeting, we should have all the answers we need.
All right.
Really be on time.
We'll
still be okay.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So deferred. Great. Tornado release, I'd entertain a motion for discussion, because I'm not tracking this.
I'll make the motion for discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, I think you might be the right person.
There's already a program in place with the state that's been implemented, and citizens are taking advantage of it, so there's really nothing.
Is there anything we need to do?
Nothing
Okay.
you can do here.
So I think we can strike this. If there's nothing to be done material, I think we can strike this from old business. And let's move on to new business. New business A1, amendment number 5 to Board of Education. Entertain a motion for discussion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Brown, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Mr. Brown, I know you'd like to ask a
There's just
question.
two questions that I would like to ask Director Langford. In the budget amendment request, it says appropriation of new revenue. From where?
It's from Medicaid billing. We receive Medicaid billing by state law for certain services
money that we receive for services that we can bill for taking care of special needs children, that rolls back into the program, so it goes for other contracted services, for equipment and things like that. So it just rolls right back into the budget.
So this is just federal funding that, I know it's federal,
Well, it's Medicare billing, it's money, like, we do the same thing with nursing, it's for services that it's billing to.
You're billing like a code.
Yeah.
Like you're billing like if somebody's doing like psych services, you're gonna bill like a psych service, and Medicaid's gonna pay.
that's all I need.
It's a reimbursement.
Got it.
But it comes into us as a revenue.
Okay, thank you.
Is it Medicare or is it Medicaid?
That's Medicare.
It says Medicare.
I mean, it's government.
Okay.
It's Medicare, catastrophic, covers that.
Did you have any other questions? All right, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion
Move
to-
back into our rules. We have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Because this is new appropriation, do we need to waive second reading?
Yeah, just wait a second, read.
Okay, let's do that one again.
Motion to approve with waiving the second reading.
Second.
Pending education committee approval.
It's been approved.
Yes, Mr. Clerk. These agendas are prepared.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Amendment number 8. Mr. Brown, did you have any questions on this one?
No.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
Wait a
carries
second,
unanimously.
reading.
Waiving second.
Did you, we'll do it again, just to be clear. Did you want to raise second reading, get your motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. So second reading is waived. Appropriations, item B, these are all pretty small here. I know we've maybe been chastised a little bit for this, but I might entertain a motion to group and approve. This is item B.
So,
Motion, second. Any discussion?
Are you waiting a second?
You want to waive the second reading?
yes.
Okay, are you good with that in a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. We're making progress. Give me 1 second. Okay, so, EMA, item C1, EMA approvals, item EA1, chainsaws. Any discussion here? I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item, C1B, 6,800 to allow for, purchase of a third generator. I'd entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second, but I want to get in my own queue here. And I'd like to suspend the rules. I know this is a relatively small amount, but I do have a question on it. I'd like to suspend the rules and ask our EMA director. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
So this says, the other one does as well, but, so are we basically gonna front you $6,800 and then you're gonna take the rest from a grant? Is this like a matching thing?
In the past, we bought, 2 of these, this will be our third. Our goal is to get 4 of these generators identical. I've got 24,000 sitting in a grant right now. The generator from the last one we purchased has gone up to a little over $30,000. That's the difference.
Got it.
And I'm asking for the difference to be able to buy the generator.
Got it. All right. Any other?
Question.
Yep. Ms. Boyd.
Is this in the budget or is this new appropriation?
I've already got it. It's in my line right now. 24,000, I've already got it in my line.
Yeah. Okay.
The 68 is new.
68.
Fiscal year 21 grant.
The 68 is new, though, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
The 68 is new, is what she said.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
This is new,
So
so
this
it wasn't in
this
the
is
budget.
new beyond your budget. This is not a
Yes,
transfer.
yes.
Okay.
So, I understand you want a 4th one. We're gonna put that in the budget next year?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I understand you want a 4th one. We'll be putting it in the budget next year?
No.
No?
No, I'm doing that 2 grants, and I'll increase the amount of the corresponding grant, to get a 4th one.
Any other questions? Oh,
I know.
How big is it?
25 KW.
Yeah, that
Thank
would be
you, sir.
good.
Go ahead.
We'll talk later.
Thank you, sir. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So, we had a second. Oh, yeah, I I would like to wait a second.
By the way, everybody, it's snowing in Dixon and Montgomery County, it's coming this way, it's gonna snow.
I'm going.
It's gonna
I mean, this is long. This is long.
Probably finish, I have to.
Oh, my goodness, it's the end of the world. Hey, can a bear cat come get me? Bear cat. All right, so this waives the second reading, is the second good with that?
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, I'm going fast. I think we're gonna defer item C. This is for the HMAP grant. We talked about that at the beginning, so we'll defer that guy. Without objection, I'm gonna defer that. All right, Sheriff's Office, remove appropriation of $39,983 due to not meeting bid specs. So this is removal of an appropriation. I entertain a motion. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Item number 3, just when we're going quick. Brown Park funds. I'd entertain a motion.
This is
So help me.
for informational. Earlier, we were talking about the Brown Park, and it's kind of our understanding that we were getting the money up front, but we're told now we're getting on the rear end, so it's just for informational only.
So I'm gonna make a motion here. I'm gonna make a motion. So there's debate on this 500,000 and where it sits, and to me, I mean, we can fight over it all day. So I'm gonna make this motion, and that motion is to send the following to or put the following in resolution. I guess it would go to the schools, Mr. Long. Where would it go to?
Do you mind if I make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead, make a comment for me.
We've got the actual resolution hitting commission this next meeting that forms the park. And then
Okay.
once that's formed, based on the communication I've received from Dr. Langford, that's when they will transfer the funds over. And then they're actually transferring into an existing park that's been ratified by this resolution.
Okay, all right, then I won't do anything.
Isn't this
I was gonna make a real smart aleck thing here, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. All right, I was gonna ask for the interest. I mean, I'd like the interest, you know, I mean, it's sitting over there, I'd like the interest. I mean, but I'll leave it alone, because I'll leave it, unless somebody else wants to. All right, so we will, I guess we can strike this, right? Do we need to do anything with
It's
this?
just information.
Yeah, let's, okay. Item number 4, Mr. Long, I don't know that I'm up to speed on this one as much. The resolution requests unclaimed balance accounts remitted to the state.
We're required to send unclaimed balances to the state for their diligence. After we do, a year later, you can claim it back to the county, you keep a reading on that, and it's going to be fine. We send this resolution every year where we can request back any unclaimed balances. And we don't know the exact amount this time, so I can't.
So, all right,
We need the resolution to claim them.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
I'll go ahead and make the motion. It's a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All righty. So I'd entertain a motion to approve items 5A and B. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one? Do we have a dollar amounts on these guys? I know we do in the packet.
The first one's a 3-year contract for $4,320. The second one is one that just goes across the fiscal year half and half, and it's $27,144.60.
27.
And they're already appropriated, they're just asking for approval because they go across fiscal year.
Okay, got it. All right, so we don't need to waive a second reading on this?
No, there's no appropriation.
All right. Any further discussion on it? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The next one, do we need to do anything with the invoices? I don't think we do, but Mr. Long, please
Yes,
give
we
us.
do, because this one was paid $14,328. We're asking you just to prove that they paid it because it goes across fiscal year, so $7,000.
All right, I entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Yes, this is for both of these, right? I think the other two to approve.
Well, that was the issue with the first one, the second one, just asking for their approval because it goes across the year.
Okay, is your motion to approve or just one?
All of them should group into those two.
Okay, A and B. Are you good with this? Second good with that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Let me tell you the details. Last year, we had 2,800. They put an additional 3 in to try to obtain the disability insurance. Right now, they're having trouble finding a carrier to carry the disability insurance as written in his contract. And then last year, even though it was provided in his contract, he was not providing any disability insurance, which is probably about $5,800 benefit he wasn't paying last year from that happened. And right now, he currently does not have a disability policy. So I think right now, the understanding you'd probably have to amend it to at least 10, and there still may be issues in this bill. And maybe, unless they reach out something different.
Yeah, they've just gone through the roof from last time I ever priced them.
So,
And it just didn't seem fair for me to just make an appropriation for some huge amount for a disability policy when really by being a contract employee, you'd have to pay me anyway.
okay, so, let's leave it alone.
See, what the concern is the item on number 6, if he gets it, and it also says, in the event the board is disabled from continuing to use under this agreement, the employee agrees to extend the benefits due from the disability policy. So basically, right now, it's saying he's gonna get benefits from a policy that exists with his salary.
So this is a boilerplate template from a previous law director for 2 decades.
I'm finding out it was.
It was not.
Your interim had done most of the paperwork on that.
He changed part of it.
Oh, that was, changed between,
I had about 5 minutes.
So what do we want to do with this? What, Mr. Long, so our options are, we bump this up to, what, 8,000 and try to find something?
Bump it way up, or remove the provision and take the non-existent.
Or if we could tweak it, I don't mind putting it towards like a life insurance policy or something, but I just don't, I mean, I'll take all the money I can get, but it just doesn't seem fair.
Here's maybe what I'd like to do. Mr. Long and I'd make this motion to ask Mr. Long and Mr. Sidler to get together and bring a recommendation for what to do here to this body, and
I'll second that.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so please bring us back a recommendation next time.
I'll make a motion to approve E1 and 2.
Second.
Did we?
Oh, wait, no, we gotta do 8, 9, 10, and 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, you're right. That's me earlier now.
Number 8.
I got you. So this is for, number 8 is one that I added data backup for the, Sheriff's Department. Do we have a dollar amount on that, Mr. Long?
Yes, but tell me which one we want to look at first.
I don't know if it's called Morocco, it's the data backup.
I think the HEMS one covers the Bean. Which one did you put first, the Bean?
Yeah,
It looks like $4,587.
I move to approve this.
There's some more costs.
I move to approve item number 8, data backup, $4,800.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Second one.
Clarify the 2 pages, the other one's $17,470. They're not asking for an appropriation, it's just over 2 years, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
So it's not an appropriation.
No, it's not an appropriation, it's just lasts
We don't
across
have to-
multiple years.
Okay. And
Both of these are the same issue, they're not asking for additional money.
we're just extending it.
These are still across multiple years, so they need your
Yeah.
approval for the contract.
Same thing for the security, this is 2-factor authentication. What's the dollar amount on that year over year?
The 2-factor, $10,526.31 for a
Software hardware.
Yeah, it's off.
it goes for 18 months.
Okay, I'd move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item number 10, this is 2 EC, asks that came in at kind of the last minute here. These were these are multi-year contracts, I believe, correct, Mr. Long?
Lifeline, and the other one, under current, is actually for a 24-month contract.
Do we have dollar amounts for 24-month contract?
Yeah, the 24 months is for Comcast.
Which packet? I'm sorry.
It's this large packet.
Yeah, it's the one with all the emails.
We're asking for 4 things.
Oh, no, we only approved 2.
Right.
We only approved 2 to the agenda.
Whether we approve them.
It
The
was,
first one is
I
very
think I
small.
missed it. So not bad.
yes.
And the second, we approved 1 and 2 on this, yeah, also 1.
Well, the first one is for,
Okay, I'll go with.
it's just Lifeline, it's for, it's software, it's for 1 year, it's $1,860, but it splits across 2 fiscal years,
fine.
Halfway's gonna be expensive next year.
I'm wanting to look at this.
And then item two
It's, Mr. Lloyd, can you direct what page we're on this?
is, and that's the thing we just got this together.
It's getting late. It's,
If you go back on page 5, it's the first one, which is why ticket community. And this is the ones we got just recently, we have time to do that. And this is the first one is for black line for $1,860, and we're just asking for approval to pay because it's gonna go across 2 fiscal years.
so, go ahead.
What is this for?
It says it's to secure threats, it looks like fire revenue.
Security, is this security software?
What is this supposed to be going on? Security software for what?
You wanna read that, please?
I haven't had a chance to read it, but
Got it. Black line is.
And if I can
Go ahead.
speak, I have looked at their transactions through prior years, and Blackline is a vendor that, it's not a new vendor for the election commission. I'm not sure what they usually pay, but I know it's not a new vendor. They use a lot of data services. Blackline is one of 5 or 6 different data services.
The only reason this comes up is if you have a service that goes across 2 fiscal years, we expense the portions of the service in fiscal years that are benefited. So like this 1,080 goes across 2 fiscal years, so half of it's gonna be in next fiscal year, it's gonna be future appropriation. That's why we're asking you to approve this.
So is this a renewal of a contract?
It's a contract we've used, it's not a renewal, but it's a new contract for someone we hadn't used before.
What have they been doing?
So what they do is, it's cybersecurity. I don't know what exactly you're getting after out of $1,000, but.
So this is cybersecurity, but we don't know what it's for. Cybersecurity for what, like election machines?
Well, we don't.
Is this moving security over there that they don't have?
It's,
Where's, what do you got? Hold on, Mark. I can't keep up.
so it's not, I think it is for IT, like cyber, I think it's support. That's what it looks like. We don't have it here.
Please confirm that it's for new services.
Oh, a new server?
That's just right here. For a new device on 1-year service, for the new location. So this is for the new location.
They're putting a server in?
Well, this software says the estimate number is $699.
For $1,800.
It's for a new device and 1-year service for the new location. The new 355 Belvedere Drive has already been completed. So it's a new service.
We are in a motion to discuss right now, I think, or do we have a motion to approve? No, I forgot. I'm gonna go ahead.
We did anything.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve this.
It says this is new for 1019 Union School Road location, so we can run the 2024 elections.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve this. Is there a second? No. Well, we need to have some. Well, go ahead.
I mean, we're having a motion to.
I don't know if we had
We
didn't have any.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
All right,
We haven't
second.
done that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, go ahead.
So how many IT services do they have? So this is a request for a relocation of Union, you said, in elementary?
Well, no, what it says on,
This is a
this
TR.
page right here says this is an all new for the 1019 Union School Road location, so that we can run the 2024 elections. Isn't that where the
TRC building is there.
what I was thinking?
But the elections
So
are
that's
already
the
being
next one
run.
to run the elections over there, so this is.
So are they running illegal, like unsecure elections, because elections are taking place in,
They bought new machines this year, so this is the.
like, since Williams, so they're doing elections right now, so they're insecure.
That would be a question.
I would, so here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this contingent on Ms. Ashley, answering questions about what this service is, to the full commission.
I'll second that.
All right, motion is second.
So elections
think it's from their side.
Ms. Boyd?
But elections already happened.
No, I don't. Ms. Boyd?
I figured out my own answer.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any other discussion on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, we have one no. Motion carries.
Black line or Comcast?
For this for Black Line. Now we're going to Comcast. Can you give us the amount, for the Comcast? This is a 24 month?
Yes, the Comcast one is for 24 months.
How much is it for 24 months?
165, it says 165 data, MOB.
How much was the funding? How much?
She's already got the funding, she just needs approval.
I would like to make a motion to approve this for 12 months.
Second.
I don't know if Comcast will agree, that's kind of.
They won't.
They won't agree with it? All right.
That's why we were asking that versus asking.
All right, then I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we already have that service here in this building?
Yes, but this.
We need to have a motion for a second for discussion.
So we're duplicate.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Boyd. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just asking Mr. Long, we already have those services in this building, so we're just buying duplicate services. And he says he believes so.
Well, the only reason I can say is you use the 1019 in the school, that's what I can tell you, it says 24 months on 65. They do have data here.
I can't hear you, Dave.
I can't speak for the necessity, but I can tell they've got that in this building and this is 1019. And what I have called, tell me what.
Yeah, what's the cost on it?
It is about. It's 10 pages from the front. It'll say Comcast Business and it looks like.
Oh, I'm sorry, here's the answer to my question. We're gonna pay $650 to move existing service on this page
At some point.
at some point.
I can't say what that.
That's what it looks like.
They're not asking for additional appropriation, they're just asking to approve a multi-year contract. And because it's multi-year, that means it's a future appropriation in future years.
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys have to approve it.
Yes, so this is an appropriation issue, it's not a money issue.
Yeah.
I know you want to.
Legal issue for future appropriations.
I know. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to approve this.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Number 11, is to stand up, budget workshops in March. These are informational workshops, where no deliberation will happen, and any commissioner can attend. Is that what this for?
And ask question, any commissioner.
Informational questions. All right, you know what? I like that. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and second.
So, please explain this to me, because we have budget hearings. We do that 2 days we take off, vacation days. 2 days to do exactly what you're asking, so I don't understand the purpose.
I'll get a cue on it. I'll get a cue on this one because last year I felt like I came into the budget with a lot more information than the people who were sitting here did, because I sat down day after day after day after day with various department heads. And I'm not expecting everybody to do that, but having an opportunity to come in and get some questions answered, I think I'm sure would be beneficial, and it may actually, you don't have to, but I think it would be helpful. That's why I'm for it. Go ahead.
How is that different than the budget process? I mean, how is that different? Because they come in and we ask them questions. I don't understand. You're going to have to do it twice? Is that what you're saying?
No. What we do is we would learn in these trainings, for instance, one of the trainings would be, how do we get to the value of a penny in taxes? And it's been, what has it been, 600 and...
Like 710 probably now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's gonna go.
it's gonna be like 1 million.
It's gonna be a lot more than that. It's gonna be probably 1.2.
Yeah, and just for me, I will do this because I feel like I've got one leg not working when we get into the budget discussion.
So, who's putting this on, and what, because you're talking about going through a budget process when some of us might not be able to be here kept up. It's like when we dedicate time to do it, so it's like you're doing it twice. I still can't get past that, so you're not.
You're not doing doing the budget twice, you're learning things about how to create the budget. Like I say, you know, when we were talking about a penny's worth $680,000 or whatever, I don't know where that came from, but I just kind of went with the flow. David would explain that to us. Maybe you don't need to have that explained to you. You don't need to come to the workshop. I do need it explained to me.
I was just open to the public.
We would notice it, we could go.
We could notice it.
Yeah,
to the public.
notice it.
I mean, I just, you don't have to come if you, it's not gonna change.
It's not compulsory.
There would be, yeah, I
Understand, but you're talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna vote no until I can get more information on this, because I don't want you guys to go through a process where then you skip out on actually doing stuff in the budget process, that we're supposed to be doing this, not an extraneous activity. That's what I'm concerned with.
What it started out as was a Zoom call that Terry was on, and she asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and I did. And it was with CTAS.
CTAS. Everybody got an email.
And
CTAS will be doing this for us, when you're doing
this is a the second one is the day after tomorrow.
And I'll put that, if we would like them to, they have offered to come. I've spoken to Mr. Long. He says he could cover any of our questions we want. It would cover things like the ratio and how property assessment and the ratio is going to come into play. We also need to understand, it's a big question with the tax freeze and the, what's the other piece of the tax called? That, where we pay part of it?
The assessment?
No.
No, it's when we match.
We match the state. And we need to understand that better, because I don't know that I understood it, maybe some of you do, that we match the state part of the property tax we pay.
Yeah.
But Hendersonville is looking at raising their limit.
Actually.
And you need to understand that we pay right now, these people that apply for this, we have about 2,000 in each of these categories. They come in and they manually tell us their information.
Tax relief.
We have 3-4 clerks that are working on this. When Hendersonville raises their limit, we're going to have to put a couple more clerks down there potentially. There's issues that are coming up that we don't anticipate, that we should at least discuss the process.
You have tax freeze and tax relief. You got two different.
And,
We get, like, another one that I think would be useful to discuss, because I was like, it was just me and Mr. Long.
yeah.
It was all the benchmarking and how far back we went, and then like doing the estimations that we made. There was a lot of, like, how you make the estimations on what we're gonna see moving forward. Are you gonna use a rolling average? All that type of stuff that, like, I realized that I rolled into, and not everybody had that. Ms. Mansfield.
I'm just making sure you're not rolling in department heads in here. If they're going to talk about stuff that's not going to be talked about.
No, it's not about, this wouldn't be about deliberating for particular budgets. That's for the actual budget. This is more
This is like a
how we
PowerPoint 101.
But a little bit more detail than that. It's specific. It would be specific to us. It was basically the credit course that Mr. Long gave to me last year. Like how you form opinion, how we make estimates. What are if you remember which it's one of those tabs that you had on like when we were making the assumptions. There are a lot of assumptions that we make. There are a lot of assumptions that we make about how much revenue that we're going to have.
Your long-term planning,
Yeah, I mean your long-term planning, the assumptions you're going to have on revenue, and how you make those assumptions. Like, if we wanted to, we could do like what the state did, right? The state went way over on their assumptions. They're like, oh, we're going to keep making so much money, and then it didn't happen. We were extremely conservative, and so they're under budget this year, or they're over budget because of it. So like, but we didn't do that, right? Because Mr. Long, we sat down and when we came here, we had a lot of we said we were probably going to be borderline on a recession, and so we were extremely conservative in our estimates for revenue. We were extremely conservative in estimates for what we were going to be across all revenue streams. And so all of that, like understanding what those assumptions are, changes a lot, because what could have happened if we would have been like, oh yeah, it's going to be great. Well, we would have potentially budgeted a lot more and then be coming up short right now, and this would be a lot bigger. So understanding those assumptions and how that gets built, I think would be, I mean, I would encourage anybody in the public to come if they really are interested in this and also have, a lot of time on their hands.
And speaking of the public, it's another element of transparency. as we get the budget out, and we're talking about, like, what is the prior year and what happened in these areas.
I just feel, personally, selfishly, I feel like I would
The
be in a
ratio.
much better state when we do our budget.
That's the ratio,
meetings.
yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, not double the actual process.
I don't want anything like.
Oh, we've already talked about that in this budget thing that
No.
come to.
It's supplementary.
Yeah, it's training for that.
As long as it's not redundant.
And just one
And then I'll get you, Mr. Mayor.
CTAS was recommending not just like one meeting, but numerous ones, like one on revenue, one on how to do the penny, one on maybe ratios or looking at the property freeze. There was a lot of things to be discussed. So I just want to make sure it's not just, they were just saying the more.
I'm gonna go ahead, Mr. Mayor, and then I'm gonna amend my motion just to be more specific.
Well, my concern is who's teaching this, because after March 1 up until the budget hearings, that finance office is pretty busy. And to pull David off of that, to teach classes to 1, 2, 3 people, whoever shows up, I think that might be burdensome. And I don't want to sit here and defend Dr. Molly, but I think it's got to be a burden.
Call it Dr. Long.
And CTAS did offer, and Mr. Long said he would rather provide the support, but they can always step in.
We'll provide you with that, but we do need to keep it, because we are pretty busy at that time.
Mr. Long, this is what I was gonna do. I was gonna amend the motion to just have a single 4-hour session that you would construct that would not be overly burdensome for you.
What I'll do is, we have revenue sheets we do protect your budget, so we'll pretty those up to the point where you can ask very specific questions or rather detailed, and then probably kind of focus on those and focus over on your long-term planning, because the department heads will be in here to defend their expenditures.
I think we may, well, if you can, I think it would be useful to do the benchmarking as well. Because that's,
even the long-term planning.
yeah,
That's the one that has all.
yeah, those are the 3 big ones.
We can go through those, the rest of them, you're gonna really have your department heads in here.
Yeah, we don't
They
have
can
time
answer
for
a lot
that.
more questions than I can. I think the information that they know what to do.
But that's during the actual budget. That's
Yeah,
Mr.
that's-
Mansfield. That's a separate thing.
I can tell you what they buy, but I can't always tell you why, and they can tell you why.
So I've amended my motion to give you that specific direction, and then we'll set up a time for it. So go ahead. Are you good with that as a second?
If I could amend, could we roll into it and set up one 4-hour session, and if we need more,
I don't want to
roll on?
overburden these guys. I want to keep it at the 4. And if we can do more, then we can. If
We'll add.
we can add. Are you good with it still?
Yeah.
I trust him to know what he's
All
got
right.
time for.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously.